Today on Real Reefing TV, we're talking about quarantining. We're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about how to set up a quarantine tank, how much it costs to set up a quarantine tank, and what does that process look like. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go over what my quarantine tank is all about, how I put it together so that we can get that fish in here. Let's do it. So the first thing that we have is a nice little 1 gallon jug for doing water changes. This is nice to have because you don't want to be lugging around big 5-gallon jugs and things like that. This makes it nice and easy to do 1 gallon water changes. Why 1 gallon water changes? Because I don't need to do a ton of water changes on this system, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm not going to do a 20 gallon tank in here. I'm just going to fill it up to 10 gallons, and that's it. Really, I mean, it's a small clownfish. What does it need 20 gallons for all to itself with not a lot of rock in it? Speaking of which, where's it gonna hide, right? So what I did was I got some of these. These are just left over from my tank. When I built it, I've got a few of them. Now, why do we not want rock? Well, rock is porous. Rock will hold on to those medications and things that we use to treat the fish with. So this is nice because it is a smooth surface. It gives a place for the fish to hide, and it's easily washed after the fact. What are we gonna need next? Power. We're gonna have to power this baby. So we've got a few things that need plugged in, so get yourself a power strip. Do it easily and cheap, right? This doesn't have to be a super expensive power bar. You don't need an Apex for your quarantine tank. I just had this one laying around. Find and see if you have one laying around. All you need is a few plugs. But if you need one, you can either go to Amazon, you can go to Walmart, or wherever you need to just pick up a really cheap power strip. Next, what are we powering? So we're gonna need a few things. We're gonna need a few things for flow. So number one, a small power head. Nothing big, you don't need no MaxiJet 1200 or anything like that. Just something small like this, and or a air stone and an air pump. These are great because one, these don't provide a directional flow, just a way of oxygenating the water with a very gentle flow. So especially if you have some sick fish that can't handle a lot of flow, that can stress them out, air stone and an air pump are great. Obviously, you're going to need the air line for that. We've got a little bit here. All right. So what's next? We're gonna need to heat the water. Now, these things are gonna get cold because in our main displays, in our main tanks, we have pumps and lights and a lot of things that keep the heat, in the tank. Think about your house sitting at around 75 degrees, right? That's way too cold for a reef tank. And so we've got to heat it up just a little bit. $10 heater, perfect. And a couple of medications. So we have some formalin here for like Proclinella and things of that nature. Some nasty protozoas can get fixed with this guy. And then we have Melafix, which is an antibacterial type of deal where if you have open wounds and things of that nature, this will treat them so that one, they'll heal up a little bit faster, and number two, it will treat them so that they don't get infections. And so that's really nice too. And you're always going to need some nets and the tank, obviously. I mean, that goes without saying, but don't run out and spend $30 on a 10-gallon tank, right? I mean, that's just ridiculous. Number one, you should be able to buy it for $1 a gallon if it's not drilled. You should be able to buy it brand new for $1 a gallon. You can go to, usually Petco will have a sale every now and then to get you a nice small tank for your hospital tank, and you can get it for $1 a gallon. If you're buying it used, just like I did, I paid $10 for this thing. It's a 20-gallon standard, so just 20-gallon high, and I picked it up for $10. Now, a couple of things when you're buying used, you can go to Craigslist, OfferUp, LetGo, or Facebook Marketplace is great too. I found a lot of great deals on there. But a couple of things you want to do when you're going to purchase them. So you want to do a couple of things when you do that. You want to ask them what they've used it for, because you don't want to buy a used tank if they used it for lizards or any reptiles or anything like that. Another thing you want to make sure that they haven't done is use any chemicals in it, because a lot of that stuff can actually leach into or absorb into the silicone and then leach out when you have the water in there and can kill your fish. So really important, you want to just make sure that we just use it for our kids fish and we're done with that. Perfect. Snatch that up in a heartbeat. You're going to save yourself a ton of money, and be doing someone else a favor too by buying it from them. They'll appreciate the cash. So one thing I want to tell you about when you're setting up your hospital tank is just use water from your fish tank, right? It's perfect. It's got some bacteria already in it. That's good, healthy bacteria. It's a good salinity. It's got a good temperature. And what you should have already been doing is acclimating your fish to that water, right? You see where I'm going with this? So when that fish gets popped in here, it's going into water it's already acclimated to. The temperature, the pH, and the salinity, 3 things that are really important when they're acclimating. And then when you pop them in here, they'll be already adjusted to that water, so that's less stress that fish has to feel when it's moving around from tank to tank to tank to tank. All right, so let's get this baby set up with some water, and then we'll get the fish in here. So now we've got the water from my tank in here, 10 gallons of it. Like I said, need to adjust my line for the 10-gallon mark, but we're ready to get power to this sucker, get the fish acclimated completely, and then go ahead and toss them in. Now remember, when we put the fish in, we want to discard the water that we were acclimating them with, along with the water that it came from the fish store. You don't want to just take a chance and introduce that water that came from the fish store into your quarantine tank. Even though it's just the quarantine tank and not the display, we still don't want to take the chance on that. And also, just kind of like prolonging the process in the hospital tank. All right, so why are we on the floor? Okay, well, because of gravity. What we need to drip some water from that tank down into this little container here. That way we can double the amount of water in here and slowly acclimate this guy. So what we're going to utilize is some of this airline tubing right here. I've got some of it. And what we're going to do, because it's flexible, we're going to tie a knot in and cinch it down until we get a drip, 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 drip. About that rate. Until the point at which we've got double the amount of water in this container. And that should take us about 30 to 45 minutes or so. We want to slowly bring this guy up on the pH, the salinity, and the temperature in here so that we can go ahead and net him out and get him into the quarantine tank up here. Sound good? Let's get it done. that's too much. We want to calm that down by tying a knot in it and cinching it up. Let's see where we're at now. That's too slow. So let's get that going a little bit faster. Open it up a little bit. Drip, 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 drip. Perfect. All right, so we've had him sitting in here. He's been drip acclimating for about 45 minutes now. Check the temperature. It all looks good. Check the salinity. It's perfect. And so now we're gonna go ahead, get him up here, net him out, and get him in the quarantine tank. The first thing you want to do is go ahead and drain the line. So you'll grab it out of there and loosen it up a little bit and let it drain out. Perfect. All right. So we got a little guy in here. Go ahead and gently net him out. Oh, it's beautiful. Gorgeous. Perfect. Swim, everybody. Swim. All right. Let's have a look at him. All right, so naturally he's gonna be a little bit stressed out. We just took him out of his nice little home in a purple bucket and put him into a glass tank with a lot of lights. So we're gonna let him go ahead and just chill out for a little while. We'll vacate the area. But first, I wanna say thanks for watching this video. I appreciate it so much. If you like to, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If you like more of these videos, go ahead and subscribe. And please drop down in the comments and tell me how you like to quarantine your fish.